Welcome, Ngetich. Okay, so go ahead, Ngetich. Your 10 minutes starts now.
the nearest or the closer friend of yours maybe is the social media. So in this field, the researchers usually use the techniques they use is in predicting the depression is the machine learning, which of course in area of my interest is deep learning, which is a subfield of machine learning. And then the methodology that I use in the systematic research is I cite the bibliographs from the databases such as Google Search, Springer, Sans Direct, from the period of 2018 to a period of April 2023. And I used some keywords that can be used to predict the depression. And the keywords, some of the keywords was the deep learning, depression, and etc. So the inclusion criteria I used was the exclusion criteria that I use is the anything else that is not or the researchers that did not use the English, because most of the researchers from the East or the Middle East, they use languages that is other than English. And the other thing I excluded is the reviews or the case studies. And in this systematic research, I got that the research that meet the criterion, but 8 of them meet the minimum requirement for inclusion. So in this one, the researchers use the deep learning model, such as the feed-forward neural network, the convolution neural network, the transencoders, and RNN, which is the recurrent neural network, and lastly the long short-term memory, which is the LCL. So in this one, depending on the data that the researchers was interested in, like in my case, I'm interested with the text data. So depending on the data set you are using, the techniques will be best suited for you. So in this one, the recurrent neural network, which is well suited for sequential data, because in predicting the depression, if a person is likely to be depressed or it is not going to be depressed, you need to predict from the past history. Like in the social media, there is a way you post things or you participate in events, but at some point you may change how you post. As in like the depression it just simply means the lack of interest in certain activities or the feeling of sadness. So in this one, we are using the sequential of data in order for the technique to get the pattern from your posting. So the continuation of this one is when you combine the two methods, that is the recurrent neural network and the long short-term memory, is in this essence you bring the element of conserving the memory of the past, so that your model will remember the past. So because in this prediction, the event of prediction is not like the constant. It is a discrete thing. So they collected the data from a social media platform. And in this one, the past researchers do the pre-processing of the data obtained from the categories like the preprocessing include the lemmatization, whereby you give any lemmatization is the simplest meaning of any sentence or any word. So, and how they do how they evaluate their model or their performance metrics.
Shadrach, you have 3 minutes.
Okay, fine. So in this one, the model evaluation was simply the prediction accuracy, and now they do the prediction accuracy is using the metric, performance metric, which is precision, recall, and F1 measure. So, and some of the findings, like the one which uses the CNN, obtain an accuracy of around 87%. The other one used the PyLSTM, which is bidirectional long short-term memory, obtain a F-score of 0.81, precision of 0.78, and recall of 0.8. And those are other comparison of the result they get. So, and the main discussion here is the ethical consideration of the research. Like when you want to use people from the social media, you need to consent to their privacy, and then on the other technical side is the biasness and generalizability of the data. Then the benefit of this one is with this model, it will help the medics to break the barrier, because I think the current when you presented yourself to the doctor, it can diagnose, or it can help to tell you you are maybe you are heading to depression or not. So with this technique, it will help not necessarily you need to present yourself to the doctor, but the doctors or the psychiatrists or the the case of university counselors, they can get to monitor you, and probably they chat with you, give you some tips, and that's it. And in conclusion, the planning model show a promising for early prediction and intervention in the depression. And there is a bit of the references of the researchers that I use in my systematic review. I think that is the end of my short talk.
Thank you, Ngetich. Let's give him a clap. So for any question, kindly note it down. Okay, so let's invite Meto. We can give him a clap as he walks to the stage.
So Gitonga, you said you have 2 presentations. So after Meto, you'll do your second presentation, and then we'll get to the question and answer time. We have 20 minutes to lunchtime, so we hope you will save on time so that we can receive the questions and answer and break for lunch. And I want to believe that postgraduate students who are here, maybe you're learning from each other. And for the faculty who are here, we're just here to guide you and ensure that you do things right, develop the right attitude to the kind of work you're doing, and of course the confidence in what you're doing. So that's why we have a number of faculty members here to help us through this journey. Or maybe we can take questions as Metro is setting up so that we can save on time. You ready? Sasa. So your 10 minutes begin now. Interestingly, you're also Shadrach, just like the previous Shadrach. I don't know, maybe you'll tell us why both of you are from Rift Valley and both of you are Shadrach.
Thank you for the time that you've offered to give me to do the presentation. If you look at the program, I think I'm a bit behind on Wednesday, but I'm grateful. Now, my name is Shadrach Meto. I come from Moi University, but the work I'm presenting is actually from Masinde Muliro University, where I'm a PhD finalist. So I am presenting something on the state of smart homes deployment in Kenya, which is just a small section of my research. So I particularly deal with the state where we are as of now. So I think we move. All of us know that what a smart home is, or perhaps we know what a smart home is. That environment which you stay in, which has all interconnected devices, which are smart or in a smart environment. They are actually interconnected with sensors, household devices, appliances, and so on. So what we are simply saying is we are interconnecting these devices so that they can talk to each other and they can make decisions on their own based on your actions or your mood or anything in the neighborhood. So all these are devices which are interconnected to a smart home, and that is the environment we are talking about here. So this presentation has only one objective: to assess where we are on matters of deployment of smart homes. The methodology of this paper is on observation, interviews, and collection of secondary data, which we have documented. The findings were categorized or subdivided into various areas: the geographical distribution of smart homes, the costs, communication infrastructure, and any other devices which are related to it. And that is what we do. So a smart home is simply a technology that is connected to the Internet of Things. It is hinges itself to IoT. And the devices used in a smart home should at least meet the criteria of location. They should be recognizable, they should be readable, they should be controllable through the internet or through the use of a smart device. So they have all these technologies which support them, and they are plug and play. You connect, it is able to detect, and it is able to reason and make decisions. Those decisions, if they are autonomous, of course, they will lead to other issues related to it. So the major sellers of smart home technologies are two, as per secondary data, that is Cisco and Ericsson. They have circulated the data, and they have largely given us where and how they are distributed. The total installed devices in IoT globally are projected to be 30 billion, somebody had mentioned something like that, by 2025. And that would be actually like 2 times what we currently, or what we had in 2021. So the distribution of smart homes in the world will look as that. You'll see that the highest distribution is in North America and the Canada, Europe. And then the mid level of the numbers will go to the Asian, and then the Africans and the South Americans will remain behind. Those are how they will be distributed between 2019 and 2024. That's a projection and what we have. So the future smart home devices would be valued at US dollar 79 billion. By 2021, it is expected to be like 4 times by 2027. So you can see that there is a huge opportunity existing based on such data or such numbers. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic also has triggered the need to use smart devices in our homes. You arrive, then it notices that it is you and it opens. You don't have to touch it. You know, COVID taught us a lot of things. We don't no longer greet. So what happens is, you arrive, the device notices, it acts. That is the aspect of the concept related to this. So now our methodology was to approach, or the approach which we visited some vendors of smart home devices within the CBD of Nairobi or within Nairobi, and then they were able to tell us or to show us the walk-in customers and the way where they had installed them and such. So we found one vendor who had installed in 3 sites. So the characteristics of the results were the same on such a vendor. But the other vendors were selling independent devices, which we are able to actually follow them up and notice which area of interest they were sending it to and where they were going. So the male customers seemed to be more interested than the female from